we asked Terry to come down today, and I didn't really want to focus too much on Charlie. I'm sure you have plenty of questions about Charlie Casanova, but I think it'll be a good opportunity to learn a little bit more about Terry McMahon, what he's all about, his career, where he started from, what his origins were. I mean, he's got a fantastic story. If you go onto his website, his story is absolutely fascinating, and it's something that I feel that we should talk about today. I know people are just Charlie Man at the moment, but I think we should talk about his career and what he wants to do in the future as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, with a burger at the back of the room, Terry McMahon.
What fucking career. It's really nice to have you here. I don't know what the fuck you're doing here, but if anyone's any questions, ask them. If not, whatever. We'll keep it fucking loose and easy and free. I presume, when David's talking about the idea of career is nonsense, but we don't have careers in this country. We just fucking bend over and get fucked is really what happens. And sometimes we get paid for it and mostly we don't. But every so often you step up and you go, I want to make something. And most of the people in this room have done that. With Charlie, it was a case of, I had 3 scripts that were greenlit by the film board, and it was 750,000 attached to each of them. And this, literally $2.25 million is 10% of their annual budget. And you're going, this is fucking great. This is going to work. This is for the first time a movie is going to be made. Turns out the producers were dumb cunts and nothing happened. And suddenly that money was gone. And you find yourself in that position so often where some kind of green light project turns to amber and then fucking turns to shit and you go, what am I doing? And why am I doing it? So that's where Charlie Casanova came about. And it was literally a case of, Una was in the first reading. We had a reading of it for the film board. I sent the script into the film board and the film board hated the fucking film. Or hated the script. And then myself and Una and Joe Hanley and Declan Conlon and Catherine Walker and Joanne Crawford and David Pearce and great fucking cast, really fantastic cast. A friend of mine runs the New Theatre and we put on a reading for the film board in the New Theatre. And the film board fucking hated it even more. So then eventually we realised we weren't going to get any backing at any level from them. And then it was a case of I needed to work with actors who were willing to go right down the line in the most impossible circumstances, in an 11-day shoot. Because I realised that at the beginning of January, this whole fucking country shuts down, that post-Christmas bullshit, and suddenly you go, okay, can we make something in that tiny time frame? Actors like Una and Declan and the rest of them, they wouldn't have been able to work under that pressure because they're fucking craftsmen. They're extraordinary in what they do. So we went the opposite. We actually worked with essentially a whole bunch of relative unknowns, but who were really, really willing to go down the line. So I didn't want to approach anybody. So I put a fucking status on Facebook. Some of you know this, some of you don't. Maybe it's fucking boring, I don't know. I'll just tell you the background anyway. I just wrote up, intend making no budget feature film, Charlie Casanova, need cast, crew, equipment, and a lot of balls. Any takers, script at www.terrymcmahon.org. This is sincere, so bullshitters fuck off in advance. And I was nervous, and I genuinely felt like a fucking idiot. And I pressed send, and it popped up as a status. And I was new to Facebook, I really didn't even fully understand it. And as soon as I saw the words in print, I just felt like I'd made a world-class cunt of myself in front of it. And I went to delete it. And as I went to delete it, somebody popped up. And within 24 hours, 130 people made contact. And the stipulation was that you had to read the script. And because again, the film board hated the fucking script, and I didn't know whether, I thought the script was important, I thought it was something, because I'm a big believer in the Aristotelian construct, and I've written scripts for Paddy Bratnock, Damien fucking O'Donnell, Richie Smith, Brian O'Malley. I've written scripts with Mark Arrow, I've won fucking awards and fucking whatever the fuck that means, and all that kind of stuff. But it means nothing, really, it all amounts to absolutely jack shit, until you're going, this is the script that I want to make. And people read the script and they seemed to fucking get it. They seemed to genuinely respond to it. And it was, myself and Johnny talked about it before. Johnny's in the film, by the way, Johnny Elliott here. But we talked about the idea of punk rock, the idea of literally going, can we make a film that is not, it's a political film. Charlie is very much a political film, but that its ethos is about what's possible within the constraints of giving the middle finger salute to the people who are going to authorize you or take away the purse. So we shot the film in 11 days. Actually, when I put the ad up, not the ad, but the status, I said shooting will begin in 3.5 weeks. Now, at the time, I had no cast, no crew, no equipment, fucking nothing. No locations, nothing. And like an arrogant cunt, I was saying we're going to be shooting in 3.5 weeks. And the hope was that something, just that seismic shift where you'd go, I don't know how this is going to unfold, but if we can make something happen, maybe people will step up. And people started to step up. Suddenly, equipment was donated. It's bizarre, because some of the fields, we ended up getting multiple people who wanted to do it. And suddenly you're going, people, we all need money, we all need to put food on our table. People were really willing to become part of something because they felt that something interesting was happening. I'm just discussing how Charlie Casanova came about. And so anyway, we shot it in 11 days. There was no pickups, there was never going to be room for pickups. We had to have the camera back at midnight that night. And there was never going to be room on any level for anything to happen outside the realm of what existed. And then we had to wait for a few months because the editor who was only available in a certain time frame. And we kept on literally favors after favor after favor. Eventually we ended up with a film. Sent the film to the film board. Now this is a finished film that we sent to the film board. And the motherfuckers hated it. And suddenly you're going, okay, this doesn't make any sense. Because they're taking a moral position on the film. It's not about whether the film has any aesthetic worth or not. They're literally taking a moral stance on it. And suddenly you go, shit, we're fucked. Then we sent it to a few film festivals, and they didn't give a fuck either. And then suddenly, David Flynn, he's a big cock swagger agent in UTA in Hollywood. And a friend of mine gave him a copy of the film. And he watched the film, and he gets handed films all the time. And he really doesn't give a fuck about them. But he watched this film and he went, bang, there's something here. And he said, you need to send it to a festival called South by Southwest. Now, South by Southwest is in Texas. I knew fuck all about it. Turns out it's one of the biggest festivals in the world. Sent it to South by Southwest, and the head of the festival is a woman by the name of Janet Pearson. Again, myself and Johnny met her. An amazing woman, remarkable woman. She's married to John Pearson, and herself, John Pearson and Janet Pearson, were behind the second independent wave of American cinema. Remarkable, the people that they facilitated. Spike Lee, Kevin Smith, the list goes on and on. Richard Linklater. But she watched it, and 2 days after Christmas, she sent the kind of fucking handjob, blowjob email that you dream about. She said it was one of the finest films she's ever seen, one of the finest directorial debuts she's ever seen, and they would like to have the world premiere. And suddenly you go from being a fucking pain in the ass to the cocksuckers in the film board to suddenly going, wow, there's a major, major, major festival want our film. And they didn't just want the film, they wanted to select it for competition. So there's only 8 films selected for competition out of something like 7,000 submissions. And we were the first Irish film ever selected for competition and the first non-American film selected in 6 years. And suddenly you're going, wow, magic is happening. Remarkable things are happening. It's possible to make a tiny film based on faith, based on the belief that it is fundamentally important for its own reasons. Not to placate somebody else or not to fucking pay or cash a check, just for the reasons of wanting to make a film. And we went to South by Southwest. The background of South by Southwest, that we arrived there and turned out the film board, who treated us like a piece of shit all the time, suddenly were fucking walking in on our coattails, and they had suddenly a whole series of fucking people who were all paid to go over. We had to pay for ourselves. We were all put up in fancy fucking hotels. We had to pay for ourselves. And suddenly you're standing and you go, nothing changes. Nationally or internationally, nothing changes. The film, you feel that the film might have some kind of life beyond the limitations, the parochial limitations of Ireland. The film was screened. We had Roger Ebert was one of the jury members. Motherfucker won the Pulitzer Prize for film criticism. I don't know how that's fucking possible, but anyway, he won it. So, turns out, and again, Johnny was there, but the whispers were we were going to win the grand jury prize. Now again, you're talking about, and all of this is about distribution. Really, nobody gives a fuck about the content of the film, really. It's about a product and where the product is placed. And we were the little fucking engine that could. We were this tiny little film that suddenly was being talked about as winning the grand jury prize. 600,000 people come to Austin, Texas for South by Southwest. That gives you an idea of, like, it's, you know, I was on ABC, NBC, coast to fucking coast. The whole thing was a big deal. And we went to the award ceremony. And as the award ceremony was unfolding, this little fucking runt who was presenting the show, little fucking ginger beardy cunt, he thought he was hilarious. He was a fucking asshole. He opened by saying, everybody gets a prize tonight. We went, okay, we're going to get a prize. So be it. I hope it's not for fucking cinematography or something. But you go, okay, we're going to get a prize. as he's reading out who wins what, we're sitting there, and we'd been split up. Johnny was there, and Tony Murphy was there, and a few of the cast were there. And as this is happening, I'm downloading the Variety review. And Variety, obviously, is the fucking Bible. So we knew that the Variety reviewer had been in the second screening. Our first screening wasn't very good. Our second screening was in a place called the Alamo Drafthouse, a really famous fucking cinema in America. And they fucking loved it. It was great. Because the first screening, I thought the film had failed. Second screening, they went fucking nuts for it. This cocksucker from Variety was at the fucking screening. So I'm trying to download the review, but the signal is weak on the internet, on the phone. And we realize, hold on a second, this doesn't make any sense. They're after giving too many prizes to one film. And suddenly, as you're sitting there realizing we're not going to win a fucking award, I go outside to try and get a signal. And I'm standing outside the building in Texas alone, downloading this review. And this is the single most important review because we were being talked about in New York, we were being talked about in Los Angeles. This tiny little fucked up film was suddenly being talked about. And this cocksucker, he opened it by saying, an intolerable film about an intolerable man who speaks for intolerably long times. And then, that was just the fucking beginning. Then he gave the worst fucking review of his life. This cocksucker hated the film. So literally, you're in South by Southwest, you realize you're not winning an award, and Variety just fucked you at the same time. Everything was over. We went back to the hotel, got stoned, and woke up the next morning and fucking wondered what happens. The film board, on some level, felt kind of validated. Because they went, yeah, this was the little fucking engine that could, and now go fuck yourself, little engine. And it was over. The whole journey was over until suddenly Edinburgh, the Edinburgh Film Festival, the world-renowned Edinburgh Film Festival, suddenly selected the film. And suddenly they were going, fuck, this cunt won't go away. The film was suddenly in Edinburgh, and then it was in multiple festivals around the world. And then eventually we went to multiple places, some fantastic experiences. We had literally some standing ovations, and we had fucking walkouts. We had people who hated it. But it's a divisive film. But eventually, anyway, to end it, we ended up getting selected for Galway. And the guy who selected it for us for Galway, a guy called Gar O'Brien, he selected it before South by Southwest. The balls of the motherfucker was great. And he put it in the prime slot in Galway. We played in Galway, we got a standing ovation, and we won Best First Feature. And to suddenly go that long journey, that whole journey, and come back and arrive back in Ireland, where you're going, okay, there's some life in this fucker yet. And then we end up, last night was our Dublin premiere, which is bizarre. Dave tried to start a fight last night, but I said that was a great night. But it was, and you're watching it and you're sitting in, like, this is the IMC cinema, it's in Dunleary, fucking pristine sound, pristine picture. All facilitated, by the way, by these people, not by the fucking institutions set up to support cinema. Those motherfuckers with 20 million a year who do fuck all except pay for their own fucking recce's, these people here were putting it on. And suddenly I get an email to say, announce off the record that Charlie may be getting a cinema release. Now suddenly the film board are discussing a 6 cinema, now it's limited, but it's fucking nonetheless real, a 6 cinema release for Charlie Casanova. And if that happens, it will genuinely, everything that has been unprecedented up until now, this will be the biggest fucking unprecedented thing. There's no film ever, because we made the film for less than €1,000. There's no film made for less than €1,000 that's ever got a cinema release. The biggest one they all talk about is El Mariachi, which was 10 grand, but a fuckload of money put into pumping it up afterwards. So if that happens, we're now in a position where Brendan McCall, anybody know Brendan McCall? Amazing fucking bloke. He was the head of Disney and the head of Buena Vista Distribution. He comes out of retirement every so often for passion projects. Charlie, turns out, is a big passion project. The fucking reporter gave him a copy of it, and he watched it and he went, this has got to be released. And again, those serendipitous, those tiny serendipitous moments. Now, if I'm talking badly about the film board, I don't mean it that way. The film board have been incredibly generous to several of my projects. As I said, they put $2.25 million on the fucking table for 3 scripts. So you can't argue with that. But the idea of independence, the idea of making a film that's about a film, not about some popcorn-eating, fucking Coca-Cola swallowing motherfucker who doesn't give a shit. A film that's about something, about sneak fucking your audience, about finding a place that's about something other than just masturbatory placation. This film is that film. And we're now in a position where, bizarrely, against all the fucking odds, having been rejected multiple times, we're talking about going shoulder to shoulder with multi-million-dollar films, with multi-million-dollar publicity budgets. Now, if it happens, great. If it doesn't, there's no fucking surprise. But if it happens, for me, it's very, very exciting to know that literally these people in this fucking room, some of whom I know and some who remarkable talents, can literally get together and for the price of a weekend away can make a fucking movie that literally can impact on a global scale. And that's a joyous, joyous realization. What the fuck am I babbling about? Does anybody give a fuck or does anybody want to ask anything?
Yeah. Oh, sorry, Tim.
What is it about the film or that you just can't pick something that's genuinely clever and original like that?
Well, the film board, in their defense, the film board are they're government employees. Most of them are fucking failed at what they've done in the first place. So they get promoted upwards. Fail upwards, you know? Now, there are exceptions to that. Like Andrew Meehan is the head of development. I fucking love Andrew Meehan. And he hated the script. He fucking vociferously hated it. But he's a huge backer of several of my other scripts. Not as a script that I wrote called Simple Simon, which they're talking about shooting in New York with me directing it for 800 grand. That's a real conversation that's being had right now. Jean-Luc Armier, a French producer. Rob Walpole from Treasure Films here, and the producer in New York are having a real, genuine, money on the fucking table conversation about me making a movie in New York City, my own original script. So they're not. It's not that they're fucking deliberately trying to stop people. It's that they have a certain criteria, and their criteria is Irish. You know, some fucking idiot living on the bog who has sexual feelings toward his mother and fucking wants to join the IRA. I'm like, who the fuck wants to see that film? But this seems to be the kind of shit we make all the fucking time. As opposed to a film that is about now. And Charlie Casanova in particular, and this is about the idea of going beyond it, but it's the idea of why are we here? What are we fucking doing? Literally, what are we doing with our lives? What stories are we telling? We don't tell political stories. Jim Sheridan was here. I spent an hour today in Jim Sheridan's company because of independent cinema. These fuckers set this up today. To be elevated by the fucking experience of sitting in that man's company for an hour. And suddenly you realize that he tries to tell remarkable stories about the times we live in. The stories that we tell, our political stories are related to Northern Ireland. And I'm frankly, and this is terrible, because I know the horrors that have gone on there and continue to go on there, but I could give less a fuck. I've seen so many fucking IRA movies. It's not, that's the only political movie we can make. Whereas in England, like in Ireland, what these motherfuckers are doing to us, they're literally killing us where we stand. And we are doing nothing. Theatre doesn't reflect it, books don't reflect it, film doesn't reflect it, and sure as shit, RTE motherfucking E doesn't reflect it. They do not on any level engage with the reality of how people's lives are being destroyed. Charlie Casanova is about that very thing. So it's in their interest to keep that kind of stuff suppressed. Because the moment you fucking open that can of worms, suddenly you go, whoa. So when they read something like Charlie Casanova, they go, we're trying to pitch a movie set in the Vales of Kerry to Hallmark. We're trying to fucking sell Hallmark movies. And this cocksucker is pissing all over the fucking cards. Do you know what I mean? So they're selling in Ireland, and they're selling in mythical Ireland, and they're selling a fucking con, frankly. But it's not in their interest on any level to do its opposite. So I understand.
So would you say that the theme of the film was equally as important as the actual quality of the film?
It's more important.
Right.
Because the quality, this is back to the thing of the cameras that we used were donated. A woman called Pauline Brennan, a wonderful woman. She works for an organization called Bradog, which is a social organization that helps disenfranchised kids. And they bought 2 cameras to help the kids understand how to shoot their own stuff. And I used to teach her. And she says to me, if you have the cameras back by midnight on the 13th of January, you can have them. Now, if she had said, I have a little fucking video camera at home, that's what we would have shot on. The only thing that was important for Charlie was sound. Now again, some of you have seen the film.
In terms of performance, the whole picture, like you still maintain that the theme and the relevance is more important than the actual, or at least equally as important as the.
It's more important.
Okay.
Genuinely, it's more important. This is my point: is that we can all find different aesthetic ways of telling the same story. We can all find different ways of looking at how we're going to present something based on budget, based on available light, based on what cameras are available. Or you can go, you know what, the only thing that matters is that against everything, we get this fucking made. So back to the idea of punk rock music. You go, a bunch of cocksuckers sitting in a fucking someone's garage somewhere going, get it on fucking tape. Get the rage on tape. It's not about pristine Sony surround sound, which bizarrely now we have. bizarrely we have now is 15 or a 35mm print, Cinemator print with Dolby surround sound. Cost 15 grand, the film board paid for it. Fucking lovely. Anything else?
It was a huge achievement for Austin Master. I mean, on so many levels. It was shot beautifully. You said 11 days. That's kind of unbelievable what you got. The soundtrack, the sound mix was brilliant. But performances, like across the board, but Emmett Scanlon in particular was extraordinary. Like, I mean, what was the dialogue between you and him? Because you said you just looked so close to the script. But I mean, he brought so much to that script.
I think Scan is astounding, really astounding. But the thing about Scan is that we're talking about the original cast. Declan Conlon, I wrote the role for Declan Conlon. Declan's a great friend of mine. And Declan Conlon would have been staggering in the role.
Oh, yeah.
How are you?
Is that him?
But it would have been a different film.
Yeah.
What Scan brought to it was, it's funny because I remember, again, Johnny was in the room, but we were doing auditions. And I even hate the fucking word audition because it was a case of I didn't want to ask anybody to do anything. Like I knew a lot of people, you know, they say you have all these connections. I didn't ask anybody that I knew to do anything. I put it out there and it had to be somebody approaching me. So Johnny is in the room here. He played Jimmy. He played the guy with the blonde hair and the no fucking eyebrows, which is how they see the working class. Like fucking mutants, you know? But Johnny was, Scan was originally playing Johnny's role. And Declan Conlon, he panics like fucking actors panic, and he won't mind me saying this. He fucking was like a pussy. Oh, I can't do it. And suddenly I went, hold on a second. There's one thing he said. He said that these characters need to be 10 years younger. Because if these characters lived through the 80s, they would have a context for understanding this. And I just thought, you cunt, you're fucking right. So I had to cast everybody 10 years younger. Now you could still pass at 25, but the other fuckers couldn't. So, and I contacted all the actors and I says, can you do it? And for all their myriad of reasons and real life stuff, they couldn't do it. Bunch of fucking pussies. So I got a bunch of people who didn't have any pedigree or didn't have any experience. I remember standing in the room and Scan, and this is an indication of Scan. Emma Scanlon, I don't know whether you know him or not, but he comes across as an arrogant prick. You will not find anybody who will work fucking harder for you. He will go down the line again and again and again without fail. He was reading in for Declan, because Declan Conlon wasn't ready to play the role yet. And I didn't want to put him in a situation where he had to perform for other actors. So Scan says he'll read in for him. And it's a scene where he gets slapped by a woman. And 150 fuckers queued up to slap him. And we did take after take after take. And his fucking almost dislocated jaw, he came back again and again and again. And at the end of it, I says, I'm probably going to regret this for the rest of my fucking life, but I think you might be Charlie. And his response was, oh, I'm all over that shit. And it was, everything was cool. He thought everything was great. Then he went home, read the script, and fucking shot himself. So I went around to his house, and Scan is a brilliant, instinctive actor, but has zero facility with language on any technical level whatsoever. No training on any fucking level. So I took a small section of a monologue, and I beat the fuck out of him. And I says, everything that we're doing for this section of the monologue is what Charlie is. Because language has no meaning to Charlie. Charlie's language is all about manipulation. It's all smoke and mirrors. It's all fucking bullshit. Just to con you, to get you to be what he needs you to be. Like any psychopath. And then he turned up on the first day. And it's funny because maybe this is boring to you, but as an aside, the thinking is in film that you should... Because I was a first-time director. I was a fucking novice virgin idiot with a whole bunch of people who were working for nothing. And I walked into a room, a lot of them I only met on the first fucking day of principal photography. And suddenly I'm going, what the fuck am I doing here? So the thinking is that what you do is you take the simplest shot, a really simple shot, you film it, you get it in the can, and you move on. And the crew are all confident and going, yeah, this prick knows what he's doing. And I thought, okay, that makes perfect sense, let's do that. And 2 days before we started filming, I went, what the fuck are you doing? Bullshit. Let's scare the fuck out of these cunts. So we shot 24 pages on the first day. All the interior stuff in the restaurant, all of that was shot on the first day. For me, it was very important that the actors make their discoveries on camera, because they were all single shots. Everything was single takes, always single takes. Now I knew I could edit it any way I wanted afterwards, but it was always single takes, where the actors are terrified, and they're listening more avidly than they've ever listened before, because they're terrified of missing their fucking cue. And as a result, they're making discoveries on camera that a technically proficient actor like Unan would have taken care of effortlessly, but these guys were learning it on camera. So what you're watching is a kind of, rawness, a raw discovery. And that's what we hoped would make some kind of sense. So again, words like viscerality, but you're looking for a viscerality. You're looking for a discovery where If I remember, I saw a terrible thing a long time ago, but it was an attempt at snuff porn, and the whole function of it was that it was a locked off camera, and the locked off camera doesn't allow you the escape of an edit. So we constantly talk about editing as if editing is the great controller or master of a film. The reality is that when you're left in a position where you want to look away, but you're not granted the release of an edit, it becomes a very, very different experience. And Scan was perfect for that. And it's funny because it's one of those things, we have something like 24 hours of off-camera stuff, you know, background fucking DVD shit. And if you see the amount of fuck-ups he made, it was unbelievable.
But it's that spontaneity moment like that you're always searching for.
Yeah.
Like,
Once you get that second, and it's a half a second that it happens. And when it happens, bang, that's the take, that's the edit. So again, with the actors, and again, Johnny would testify to this, but the actors, I put them under fucking huge pressure. I've done a bit of acting as well, so I love actors. Apparently some directors are afraid of actors, but I love working with actors. I find, like there's the odd prima donna cunt, but most of them are genuinely the bravest society imaginable. What actors do, what they're prepared to do in front of a room full of fucking ball-scratching, fucking sandwich-eating, fucking, where's my burger? Fuck, I forgot the burger now. They're prepared to do all this in front of a crew of people who really couldn't give less a fuck. And yet they're going to expose, like getting naked is easy, but getting psychologically and emotionally raw enough to allow people in, that's the rarest fucking courage. And thankfully, with frankly one or two exceptions, we won't name them. Let's fucking name them, will we? No, there was a couple of fuck-ups, but most of them stepped up, really, really stepped up. And for me, the excitement is that when David Flynn watched it in LA, he says that what excited him mostly is that it did not feel like an Irish film on any level. And that to me was important, that you're actually watching a film where you go, don't give a fuck where this is from, but something strange is happening. That's the first walkout. Anything else?
Yeah, you recently posted on Facebook about the. Now I know Charlie was a stage play originally.
It wasn't.
No.
No.
Well, you have a stage play, Charlie.
You know what's fucking sad? This is more an indication of how fucking pathetic I am. I didn't know I had a stage play of Charlie because I forgot I'd written the fucking thing.
Yeah.
And somebody sent me a link that was on this ebook uploader shit.
Yeah.
And I went, what the fuck is this? And I read it, and it's very different than the film. But I had literally forgotten that I'd written it. And then a guy who runs, the same guy who runs a new theatre who gave us, Anthony Fox, who gave us the room, he said, this is brilliant, let's put it on. And I was so excited by that moment of discovery, I went, yeah, let's go for it. And then suddenly I went, fuck, this is wrong. And I pulled it. It felt wrong on most levels. So again, Charlie has so much dialogue in it, and so much muscular overlapping dialogue.
Why did you pull it? Is there a particular reason why?
I just thought it's fucking wrong. It's indulgent. It's like, you know, if your film has some kind of success, maybe a few years down the line do a stage version. But
So you feel there's nothing wrong with the script?
oh, it was brilliantly written. It was a masterpiece. No, it was a case of you standing there going, do I have fucking anything else?
Yeah, I know.
This idiot talking about this fucking stupid cunt movie, and now he's doing a stage version. When's he going to do the fucking musical? So it felt like that. So that's why I pulled it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's going well, isn't it? Look at the face of that woman with the hat. I got to see you on camera. Myself and Gar were talking this earlier. Gar, put her on camera, not me.
So, it'll be fantastic if you get the distribution, if you get the 6 cinemas, that's going to be fantastic. That gives Charlie a little bit more life. Okay, so we'll probably see him travelling around Ireland and hopefully abroad for a couple more months. I'm just wondering what your plans are for the future after Charlie.
Well, this script, Simple Simon, it's about a mentally handicapped guy who falls for a suicidal air hostess. And it's a very personal script for me, and it's a script that has been taken out several times, been optioned by several people. But as I said, there's now I'm fucking broke. Like, I mean, I'm literally broke. I'm literally finding it hard to put food on the table. And I got 3 kids and mortgages and all that bullshit. But this film, if this film happens, to be in New York City, because I went over to New York and did all the research and all that kind of stuff. And if that film happens, if that's the only thing I ever do again, what an extraordinary joy it would be for me just to make a second film. To make a film at all in the first place was remarkable. And for it to have the bizarre life that it's had. So if the only thing that comes out of it, because there's not going to be a fucking dime earned. Like, again, the discs that I send out to the film festivals, I burn them on a home computer. We don't have glossy, perfect fucking DVD covers. You know what I mean? Literally, it's all handwritten fucking idiot shit. And the truth is that if the only thing that comes out of it is that you make a second film, and a film that's important to you, that's your own script, that'd be fucking staggering. But I'll have sex with people for money, so whatever suits you.
I want to talk to you.
You don't have to pay, Gar.
Thank you.
I'm kind of worried actually, because what you've done is true spirit of any independent artist, along with like Dave in this festival and what people are trying to do, and you kind of become not like a figurehead or something, but you're like a cipher at the moment for a lot of artists who want to make work and have no money, have nothing. They have creativity and they have a couple of technical gadgets, or they maybe get a camera, and at the moment you're kind of blazing you just there at the moment as well, and like with Charlie here and what it's doing, is that it's saying possibility. Okay, whatever the film board do or do not do with their funding, they will continue to do that. If they're making a judgment of whether your film is right for an Irish audience, they're making a judgment for me, and they don't have that permission. I don't give it to them, and we shouldn't give it to them. Same with our national theatres. There are theatres.
No, I agree. Yeah.
So having access to funding is really difficult for artists who are really wanting to make work, and independent work, different narratives, not what has been made or cultivated as an Irishness. And my worry is, and I'm sitting here and I'm talking, I wasn't supposed to talk out loud, that was supposed to be in my head. And I'm kind of like, Dave's talking about your next piece. What do we do then? You know, if we want to make a film, what is it? You go back to Facebook? It's like a movement. It's like John Cassavetes, what he did. We need to hold it and not let go of it.
Well, it's funny because Cassavetes.
That's what I mean.
But Cassavetes is a perfect
I'm
example.
really excited. I don't want it to go away. And even the conversations, whether people like it or they don't like it, or you know, this happened. Did you see? They're talking. They're expressing something other than what you say the country is doing to us, or what we're passively, unfortunately, some place of limbo allowing to happen. And my fear, and I do have a genuine fear, is that I don't kind of really want you to go away. I want you to continue, and I want you.
You want to have sex with me? Don't you?
No, I don't.
Why the fuck not?
Let's shut up, okay?
She does.
Shut up.
Go on.
Your tattoo says, the art is in the completion begin. Well, I continue that tattoo. Begin again and again and again and again and again. So no, you can't just go away and make simple Simon great, but what else? I'm putting pressure on you. What else are you going to do?
As you touched on earlier,
Have you met my wife? Well, go ahead.
Robert Rodriguez, hopefully the biggest god, like if not the same kind of lines, similar kind of lines.
I'm not dismissing it all, Luna. I met Robert Rodriguez in Texas.
Oh, right.
And
Well, it's in all
again-
right, my uncle's from Austin, I've been there a few times.
Well, it's a fucking great place, isn't it? Amazing place.
Brilliant.
But Rodriguez brought us around to he owns this big fucking studio there.
Yeah.
Now the thing is that I found Robert Rodriguez incredibly inspiring, a magnificent man. I think his movies are shit.
Oh, really?
Fucking shit, man.
Yeah.
El Mariachi is a piece of fucking
I
horseshit.
think so. I thought it was great. It's quite inspirational.
I don't answer my question, man.
Don't be fucking arguing with the children in front of the public.
I know them.
Okay, just she's mentioned the tattoo. This is I got a tattoo put on me. It says the art is in the completion. Begin. And the reason I got the tattoo was literally so when you're in the shower every morning jerking off with your left hand, you're going, fuck, what are you doing? So the point was that you went, okay, what are you fucking doing? And literally it's about no more excuses, no more bullshit excuses. Now bizarrely, and I don't mean this is some kind of ego trip, it's a fucking slightly weird. 3 other motherfuckers have got the same tattoo put in their body since. And that's fucking spooky, frankly. But they've contacted me and have said that beyond the film, this fucking sentiment, the art is in the completion begin, has meaning for them beyond my life and my film, and it translates into their life. The idea of doing it again and again. You mentioned John Cassavetes. Do you know John Cassavetes? He's an amazing actor, but an even greater filmmaker. He made independent films and he funded them himself. And several of them he made over a number of years. There's a movie called A Woman Under the Influence. If you ever get a chance to see it, fucking masterpiece. But John Cassavetes, the whole point of John Cassavetes was that he had... have you seen Rosemary's Baby?
Yeah.
He was the father in Rosemary's Baby. He's Maggot in The Dirty Dozen. He's an amazing actor. But His ethos was, and this is where nothing has changed from the 60s to now. Why the fuck are we waiting for these cocksuckers to give us permission? Why are we waiting for their authorization to make work? You said that they have a camera and a bit of equipment. What fucking else do you need? Record sound and vision. And you know what? If you can't get fucking sound, record vision. And do it fucking later. The reality is that in technological terms, it is unprecedented what we can do. Our fucking bullshit iPhones literally can film stuff that can be transmitted and watched. Our kids watch YouTube all the time. They're used to shit quality picture and shit quality sound. All they want is a visceral engagement. We don't have excuses anymore. We can't blame the film board for rejecting us. We can't say they didn't fucking respond to our genius, boo-hoo. I'm gonna get a fucking job at McDonald's. Get a fucking job at McDonald's and make your movie in your fucking spare time. And that's the reality, is that we don't have excuses anymore. To write something, you need a pen and a piece of paper. That's the reality. And for too fucking long, we've been dependent on those motherfuckers in RTE and those motherfuckers in the film board giving us authorization to make our own work. Why? Why should we be offended by their rejection? We should be fucking embracing it. Sorry, Tim.
But in a way, you still have to write something that is possible to shoot on a shooting budget. I mean,
Fuck,
you can't
yeah,
have-
of course. Dude, don't fucking make a science fiction movie.
That's my problem.
You fucking science fiction freak. No, but the fact, you know what science fiction, what is it about science fiction? It's the humanity that exists despite the fucking robotics of machines. That's what science fiction is all the time. So you can fucking do it against the screen. The reality is, and for me, the fundamental issue is back to what you talked about. Why are we waiting for permission? That's the first flaw. Secondly, I think I know you well enough, and I'm presuming that, maybe I'm being a presumptuous cunt, but I'm presuming that our tastes are kind of eclectic. I don't think we're going to tune into Ryan Tubridy and think, what a fucking majestic human being. I think we want to kick his fucking face in, with justification. The stuff that we want to make, the stuff we want to do, is not the stuff that RT is going to respond to. The stuff we want to make, the stuff we want to do, is not the stuff the film board is going to respond to. So what?
I know,
In every other country, in America, there's no such thing as a film board. There's no such thing as anybody handing out assistance.
Yeah.
People fucking max out their credit cards to make their movies. And these are 4-minute movies. People literally put their whole fucking life on hold to make a 4-minute movie that no one's ever going to fucking see, that they put on YouTube. And that's the level of passion. We've been fucking anesthetized by these fucking handouts from people who don't really give a fuck about passion or individual voices on any level. So that's our fault, not theirs.
I know, but I'm talking about that, taking that artistic thing, and it's small, and it could be 4 minutes, it could be Charlie Casanova, and then you have it, and then you've spoken that you've just, the possibility of 6 cinemas. That excites you. It excites me because it goes into a national public arena.
Yeah, but
so I don't have somebody as I walk.
But that is against literally all the odds.
I know, but look what I had to do to get there.
No, I'm standing here like some fucking swaggering asshole talking about, look at me, look what I've done. The truth is that I doubted it on every level. When they told me the script was a piece of shit, I thought, are they right? On every fucking level. When I fucking thought about the idea of putting it on Facebook, like a fucking idiot. This tattoo, what a fucking muppet. You're a 40-year-old man, you're getting a fucking tattoo in your body? What's wrong with you? Get a fucking life, you dumb cunt. You think I wasn't thinking that? All the time. You think at this stage that if Charlie Casanova does get a 6 cinema release, that there are not going to be people sitting in a cinema going, what is this shit?
But it's there.
It's there. It's there against all the odds. And the reality is that...
And I love that.
She definitely wants to have sex with me. And I might even let you. Any more questions?
When you were put together and writing this film, and then subsequently shooting it and actually making it, did you, in your own head at all, almost have to prepare yourself for a kind of, I hate to use the word controversy, or the idea that people will have a problem with it and will kind of moan about it or overshoot shit? Is there any kind of a, way you kind of prepared for that in your own head, or you just kind of...
Well, it's funny because the idea of preparing for controversy as opposed to courting controversy, because I don't think it's a controversial film. I wrote it in 2007, and I thought it was a grotesque prophecy. Turns out these cocksuckers are much worse than we ever thought. Charlie Casanova is tame compared to what these cunts are doing to us. They are literally stealing our children's future. They are literally killing us where we stand. When they talk about Northern Ireland and the loyalists coming in and burning out the Catholics, what they're doing is worse. They're just using different weaponry. And we're standing here letting it fucking happen. Charlie is a fucking nonce. He's an amateur compared to these cocksuckers. So in terms of controversy, I knew it was going to be polemic, but the polemic is deliberate. You know, again, if you're making a love story, and the love story is about the tenderness of love, or you're making a passionate film about the sexuality of love, it's going to be a profoundly different film. Frankly, I'd be more compelled by the second film, because the tenderness of love is a given. But the darkness and the complexity of the sexuality of love is where I want to go. Charlie Casanova was the same thing. Now, I've written, for my fucking sins, and I feel like a member of AA here, but I wrote over 100 episodes of Fair City. You should punch me in the fucking face for that. And I won't fight back, because I fucking deserve it. So it's not that I'm incapable of writing that fucking dirt. I know what it is. It's functionary, fucking anesthetizing nonsense. But Charlie was not about that. And it was never about that. But also it was never about courting controversy. It was about, what is this about? Why is it about this? And what do we have to do to get it out there?
So I suppose it was kind of more of a social commentary from your perspective, as opposed to like what's needed right now, or.
But it's not even a social commentary. It's literally it's a cry for help. It's going, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah.
Like a social commentary. I tell you, the priests are raping children. That's a big shock, isn't it?
Not really.
We fucking knew for years and years and years the priests were raping children. We fucking knew this. We fucking acquiesced, silently acquiesced. We fucking facilitated that realm of engagement. Charlie Casanova is the same thing. I really do think, and I fear this, it's that notion of your son in World War II, they say, what did you do during the Great War, Daddy? I literally fear my grandson going, what did you do in 2010 when these people came in here, raped our fucking country, took my education, my future, my fucking health, your fucking home. What did you do, Daddy? I did fuck all, son, because I'm a pussy. That's what Charlie is about. It's literally an attempt to deal with your own horrific shame at the fucking stuff that we've allowed to happen. That was a nice note, wasn't it?
Have you considered leveraging some of your international exposure from Charlie to get international funding for your next feature?
Leveraging.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
because they're out there going, yeah, hey, let's leverage this. They don't give a fuck. And they're right. This is an anomaly. It really is an anomaly. It's not something that's going to set a precedent that makes them go, wow. They're going to go, oh, that's interesting. And they're going to kick it away and go back to popcorn and Coke. There's no leverage there. If there is leverage at all, it's being able to make Simple Simon in New York. If that happens, that'll be staggering. That'll probably be a shit movie. So.
Is that what's your next project you intend to happen?
My next project is literally, and I'm not taking a piss here, but anybody, I've been offered a job in fucking Africa. I was telling you about this last night, you drunk cunt, you don't remember. But I've been offered a job in Africa. And the job is going to the dodgiest prison imaginable, for research to do a fucking script because of a previous script I wrote called The Dancehall Bitch. And these guys are probably going to rape me in half. And I'm going to do it because they give me a bit of fucking money. That's my next real job. Apart from that, raising 3 kids and dealing with the psychosis of a woman in a domestic scenario.
Well, obviously, Charlie's like such a, you spoke about it in Atlanta, I mean, you're obviously so passionate about it. I mean, you must have something that you want to make beyond.
I suppose it's kind of what I was actually trying to say there, where they say you mentioned Robert Rodriguez, whether you like his movies or not, or say Kevin Smith or wherever it may be, can you kind of like, is there much of a realistic chance of snowballing this to actually get some fucking proper funding and
well, if you look at, again, the two you mentioned, Smith and
yeah.
Rodriguez,
well,
they made very accessible films. I think the difference is with Charlie. Hello, how are you? Welcome. I think the difference with Charlie is that as a film, nobody really gives a damn, and the few who do give a damn are kind of irrelevant anyway in terms of the bigger machinery. That's how they view them.
Okay.
And because I'm the producer on Charlie as well, everything I'm doing, like we shot Charlie in 11 days. Do you understand me? That should have been me fucking over. Then we go to the editing. That should have been definitely me over. Instead, I'm pimping it out like some cheap fucking hooker. Because literally it's a case of who knows about it, who's distributing it, who's willing to get involved in it. And the only reason the Film Board are now discussing a 6 cinema distribution is because of that constant knocking on the back of their head, where it's literally a case of, this guy, he's either going to fuck off or we're going to help him. And they realize I'm not going to fuck off, so they better help me. And it's as fundamental as that. There is literally, it's not a case of merit. They don't give a fuck. They literally don't care. But it's a case of maybe they'll get rid of me easier by giving me a little bit of what I want. And that's producing.
I suppose if the substance there's no such thing as black and white. You know what I mean? It's not like we say no, so that's...
Well, I give you a simple example. RT were involved in Charlie Casanova. We went in, we met with Jane Gogan and David Crean, who were the heads of the drama department. Totally unqualified, imbecilic, beyond incompetence. And these people are getting an annual salary that's extraordinary. They fucking read it and went, Jesus, get out of here. Now, in the scenario, if RT bought Charlie Casanova, do you know how much they pay for it? What do you think, a national broadcaster?
Fiver.
I'm not taking a piss, but it wouldn't be that much fucking more. They literally would pay tops a couple of grand for it, but probably less. So you're talking about making a film in your national culture where the national broadcaster has a cultural remit and is paid vast amounts of money to achieve that. And what do? Everybody, and sadly this is the reality, and I know that most of you know this. There's a three-tier system. On the top, and on the middle, and on the bottom. The bottom are the creatives. They are us. They are a whole bunch of people who are struggling desperately to genuinely make something that has reason. We get fucked sure as night follows day. The next level are the administrative staff. Those cocksuckers never have to worry about paying their fucking mortgage. They're not the ones leaving the bar early because of no money. They're at the fucking private bar getting free booze. These fucking administrative staff, these failed fucking artists, these failed fuckers who subconsciously or very consciously resent you because you're trying to make something, are controlling the trickle-down money. So they cut you off. And then above them is a small elite group who cream off everybody. And that's the system. And the artist gets fucked every single time. And what do? Do we fight back? No. We queue up and drop our pants and go, please don't hurt me too much. Actually, can I pay for the Vaseline? That's what we're fucking doing. That's our fault. You really arrived at a lovely time. Sorry, folks.
Guys, we have to wrap it up because we've got to get Terry off somewhere. So listen, ladies and gentlemen, Terry McMahon.
Thanks very much.
Okay, folks, that's the end of our Q&A with Terry. We're just about to